What's going on, HVAC contractors? I just wanted to talk about price today. Now, I just got off the phone with a pretty successful HVAC contractor. They're doing about 7.8 million a year, so they definitely know what they're doing. But the one thing when I asked that they didn't know how to answer was, okay, how are you differentiating yourself other than price? And so that's what a lot of contractors get stuck with is, the customer gets three bids, they're going to go with the lowest bid. Well, that's not true. There's so many other ways to differentiate yourself other than price. And if you want to start winning more bids and charging more money and increasing your margins, you're going to have to establish ways to set yourself apart other than price. Now, there's several ways to do this. A lot of it has to do with before the customer even has the sales appointment with your sales rep, right? It could depend on their service history with you, but once they book a sales appointment with you, that's when you should have a marketing and communication system that kicks into gear automatically to start educating them, positioning yourself apart from the others, telling them what to expect during the process of making a decision about replacing their HVAC system or, adding new heating or cooling equipment to their home. All of this stuff needs to be kicked off automatically without any humans in your office doing anything at all. When a sales call is booked, X, Y, and Z happens, right? We have a phone call, a text, an email. We've got a package that goes out to them in the mail. Or, if it's a really quick turnaround, like a next day appointment, you've got educational materials that your sales rep know, hey, this package, this group of materials after our sales appointment, if we don't close it, needs to be given to the customer, right? So they can make an empowered decision. And then on the other side of that is what's your follow-up like after your sales guy goes to the appointment, and if he doesn't close, what's the follow-up process like? So most sales reps, most sales guys, and I used to be one, so I know, and I was a part of a sales team at a very large residential HVAC company, they're not going to follow up, right? Like, especially during the busy season, there's just too many other opportunities. They're not going to follow up. They're just going to go on to the next one. They say, hey, I lost that one. But what I've found is that you can close about 5 to 7%, maybe even up to 10% more of these sales by simply having automated, intelligent follow-up systems in place that actually follow up with customers, right? Because your sales guys are too busy, or they get lazy, or they're unmotivated, or something's happening in their personal life. And then you, as the manager, the owner of the HVAC company, or the sales manager, you don't have time to scrutinize every single deal or every single sales opportunity that these guys get and whether or not they followed up or not. You might do that like in a wave. You listen to a podcast or see a video, and then you're starting to analyze their follow-up numbers and see what they're doing. But as we all know, if we're being honest, that falls off after a month, a couple weeks, definitely after a few months, all that stuff follows off. So that's why over here at Automatic HVAC Sales, we create automated systems to put into place before the customer meets with one of your sales reps and after they meet with one of your sales reps, because there's a lot that needs to happen in order for you to start winning more bids that aren't just based on price. As we know, if you're an ethical, moral, high standard HVAC contractor watching this, you know that there's companies out there that are doing terrible work, that are sizing systems incorrectly, that are doing installs incorrectly. There's just so many different factors that go into a correct HVAC installation or not. And you know that if you're an experienced, ethical, high-level HVAC company owner or manager, especially if you've actually physically done the work yourself, which most of you have. So trying to compete on price with, like, for example, let's say a company backed by private equity, not a good idea, right? They just bundle those companies together. If the sales numbers go up by 2% or 3%, 4%, they're happy, right? They're just going to, there's these fat cats sitting in a New York City high rise looking at numbers on a spreadsheet, and then they're going to go to their lunch that's, $1,200 or whatever. Like, that's the people we're competing against. So you've got to find ways to differentiate yourself other than price. Years in business, that can sort of help. Being privately owned still, that can sort of help as well. But there's so many different ways that you can educate and nurture your customer before and after the sale that's going to dramatically increase the likelihood of them buying from you and making price while it still is a consideration, it's going to be less of a consideration. It's going to be lower down on their priority list once you start educating them about, hey, did you know when you replace your gas furnace and air conditioner, you need to set the furnace on a box and, you know, cut out the side of the furnace and then have the bottom of the furnace be open as well, so you can get more airflow through the system, so it's going to work better for you and it's not going to be sized in properly. You know, and I'm not a technical person, but I have worked in the HVAC industry for a couple of years, like I said, so I have some understanding. But it's things like that. We're just educating someone on, hey, this is why you need to do we need to do these installs this way. This is why it might cost a little bit of extra money, but your system's going to last a lot longer. You're going to be more comfortable. Your bills are going to be lower. It's stuff like that. And the thing about it is doing all this automatically in an automated way, so you don't ever have to think about it again. None of your employees have to think about it again. And you don't have any hand-holding to do or motivational pep talks, right, to get your employees to do this sort of thing. So that's just kind of a quick overview. I wanted to cover that on how to compete on something other than price, because there's a lot of ways to do that. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you're getting this in an email from me, reply to the email. Let me know what you think. And I look forward to speaking from you or hearing from you soon. If you want to learn more, I'll include a link here where you can learn more about what we do. If you want to apply to work with us, if you're like ready right now to have someone work with you or to have us work with you to come into your business and install these systems for you, we can do that. Or just subscribe to the channel, sign up for the email list, and we'll keep educating you on these best practices. So that's it for me. This is Chris Stelzer from Automatic HVAC Sales, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.